Good morning, welcome back to the channel. We talk a lot about EV and we certainly talk a lot about the Stellantis product. Today we are talking about what might be one of the most controversial EVs on the road. EVs in general have a lot of controversy, but an EV muscle car has a ton of controversy. Whether you are into EV or not, you've probably heard about the Dodge Daytona Charger EV. Guys, this thing demands attention. I actually got followed home yesterday up my driveway so someone could check this car out, and they were impressed. But let's talk a lot about what it's like to drive an EV muscle car. We've spent a lot of time behind the wheel of Hellcats, RTs, SRTs, so this platform, if you will, muscle car is not new to us. This is the Stage 1 RT. So think of it in alignment with the RT gas version. From a power standpoint, it's still actually faster than the gas version RT. This has just about 500 horsepower. Now it does have the same motors and same battery as the Stage 2, which you're gonna get about an extra 100 horsepower. Same motors, same battery. We recently at the Chicago Auto Show talked about the Wagoneer S. Now this is on the exact same platform, Stella Large, as the Wagoneer S. They also talked about an over-the-air performance upgrade on the Wagoneer S. Will we see performance upgrades being over-the-air something you can purchase? I kind of think so. Stella Large platform is going to be something that we're going to, I think, see a lot of. Will we see a Grand Cherokee on one? What else are we going to see on the Stella Large platform? They've kind of been tipping off that this platform is going to be a great foundation for a lot of different cars. The Wagoneer S and the EV Charger are a great example. So we're going to talk a lot about the performance of the EV and why it actually outperforms the previous Hellcat and previous gas versions of this vehicle. The Stage 2 is actually faster than a red-eye Hellcat with some impressive performance. They are all-wheel drive, so while it's winter and, well, we got a little snow out here, you can actually still have a ton of fun with this vehicle. Now, if you're not an EV lover, the good news is later this year, we're gonna see this in what they're gonna call the six-pack. They're gonna have a twin-turbo inline-six under the hood here. Well, right now under the hood, there's a Frunk. We'll get to that in a minute. Begs the question is, what is the front of this car going to look like with an inline-six in it? This here, airflow, actually provides downward force on the front of the vehicle, much like a spoiler would on the back. They call this the R-wing. Now, if you put electric motors don't require air cooling. There's no radiator. There's no cooling needed here in this area. So when you put that six-cylinder motor in it, what does this front look like? Maybe it's going to come in down here. I don't suspect there's going to be a big change, but time will tell. Now, this RT version will hit the 0 to 60 mark in about 5 seconds. Now, when you bump up to the Stage 2 with that extra 100 horsepower, you're seeing 0 to 60 in just over 3 seconds. Both incredibly fast, super instant torque. We're going to take you for a drive, but we just want to point out some of the differences. Let's walk around some of the exterior and we'll show you some of the other features on the outside of this EV Daytona. Let's talk about two-door versus four-door. You might say, well, the Charger is supposed to be a two-door and the Challenger is supposed to be a four-door. Well, here's how it's going to work moving forward. We've talked about this in other videos. The two-door and four-door are still going to be Chargers. They're just going to be two-door and four-door versions. Now, the four-door version is going to be the same size vehicle. Nothing's really going to change, exterior or interior, really for that matter, except for you're going to have 4 doors. So you're not going to really get any extra room, but you really don't need any extra room, and we're going to show you why when we get inside the vehicle. So let's talk about charging and range. This is a little over 100 kilowatt hour battery. You can charge on a level 3 charger or fast charger from 5% to 80% in a little over a half hour. I've got a level 2 at home. I charge from 45% to 100 in about 3 hours, 4 hours. Whether you buy the RT or the Scat Pack, they both have the same battery. They both have the same motors. You're just asking more out of the same battery, so you are going to give up that range with the higher horsepower. Now, again, we talked about being the most controversial vehicle, EV, and we're going to talk about exhaust noises and whatnot, but this is that fun car, right? Think of your gas Hellcat. It is not designed for fuel economy. 10 miles to the gallon, sheer power, sheer fun. It's not designed for the fuel economy in mind. Same kind of idea. This wasn't designed for range in that Scat Pack. I'm not saying you can't, but it's designed for that powerful, the fun, the spirited rides, the around town, go blast around. That's what this is designed for. And this, again, very similar to those Hellcats. You can't hardly pass a gas station. But certainly a respectable range in the RT with over 300 miles. This does have the CCS port. There is talk about moving to Tesla. There's conversations. We talked about it when we interviewed our brand manager with Jeep. But right now, this is this standard CCS port. One thing I do like about this port is it is actually lighted at nighttime. We own a 4xe, and it's really hard to see where you're plugging in at night. And the other thing, when you are plugged in here and your doors are locked, it does lock the cord in, unlike the 4xe platform, so that is nice to see. The other thing that's super awesome is this vehicle has a ton of really cool features at night. We're gonna roll that clip now and show you what some of the features this does at night, both exterior, interior. We're gonna finish our walk around outside, and then we'll jump inside and take you for a ride. All right, so keys in hand. As you walk up, vehicle wakes up, taillights wake up, headlights come on, door handle, and you get this cool Dodge logo on the ground. All that just with proximity with keys in your pocket. So similar to that Wagoneer S we just reviewed the other day, you can change the colors of the dash, but what's really cool is down here in the door, it really looks nice. I really like it. And then you can change the intensity of it. You can go brighter, or if you want to just real dim it down, you can. All right, so now let's talk about one of the more controversial parts of this car. We're going to give you a cold start, if you will. You can actually feel it in your chest. Now, listen to when you turn it off. It's got a very unique sound as well. So Dodge actually spent a lot of time creating this Fretzonic exhaust, they call it, and they analyzed the sounds of the Hemi, the sounds of multiple different vehicles to create this augmented reality of an exhaust. Now, we're going to talk about what it sounds like inside the vehicle during our drive. But this has actually been patented, and again, they spent a lot of time dissecting various exhaust notes and tones from the Hemi and other engines throughout the course of their time, and they created this exhaust noise. Love it or hate it, it's here. The good news is if you hate it, you turn it off. So finishing up the tour of the outside, this is actually a hatchback. So you push this here. Probably best in class of storage. It's actually huge back here, a ton of storage. And you do have some storage under here as well. And then those seats will fold down flat, and heck, you could probably get a sheet of plywood in there. Let's move around to the front, and we're going to show you the frunk area, if you will. Just push this button here. It's going to open the front. Now, believe it or not, this area here is actually an option that most of these will likely have, but if you get a base one, it does not have this cargo hold. But good for a backpack or maybe a charging cable, I don't know, whatever. But certainly some storage there, and eventually, well, room for the 6-pack. Without further ado, let's jump inside. Let's talk about the Fretzonic exhaust on the inside. Let's talk about how it drives. Let's talk about how the comfort is, and let's take you for a ride. Let's actually hop in the back real quick. I'm going to show you what it's like to sit in the back. This just rolls forward automatically. Power. You pull this, and the seat's going to come back. I'm over 6 feet. This front seat is back, like my son was sitting in it last night. He's like, I had a ton of leg room. Look at, I'm nowhere near hitting the top. I'm super comfortable. Got plenty, yeah, they're touching, but I am more than comfortable back here for a sports car. The back seating, I mean, it's huge. It's incredible. We've even got heated seats and USB-C chargers. All right, so we're gonna do a cold start from inside the vehicle. I'm not sure you're gonna hear it, but let's see. And let's talk about the interior features for a second. So similar steering wheel to the Wagoneer. You got the flat on top. A little bit different down here. You can put your hands here and here. We're gonna talk about PowerShot mode. You've got drive modes, and you've got basically your Uconnect screen, very similar to what we saw on the Wagoneer. Now what I do like here is you do have HVAC actual buttons. I love the wraparound dash. We showed a clip earlier what it looks like with the colors at night. You do have the full panoramic sunroof. The glass does not open, and there is not a shade. Keep that in mind. Not that that's a horrible thing, it is tinted. This does have the driving assist. You can check that out. We've talked about that in some previous videos as well. Moving down here, you've got the pistol shifter. You do have wireless charging capabilities. You've got your cup holders and similar brake or similar power switch to the Wagoneer S. Moving in here, you've got a power point, and you do have a credit card key, so that's cool to see. Let's talk about what it's like to drive the all-electric Charger. Do you have a nice heads-up display? You can change what's shown in there. This one does not have the drag mode or the track mode, being the RT, but you still get the RT pages and the performance pages in the dash, which are going to give you a whole bunch of data about 0 to 60 times, lap times, and that kind of stuff. Very similar to what we're used to in the SRT pages that we've seen in the past. Now, if I flip down here to drive modes, I don't know if you're going to hear it, but I'm going to put it into sport mode. The exhaust note changes, the steering wheel tightens up, and my throttle response is really woke up. All right, so we've got this in sport mode, and I don't know that the mic's gonna pick it up, but I want you to hear the exhaust noises. Let's see. I'm gonna get on a little bit. Woo! The roads are cold, even with that all-wheel drive. She wants to go. It does sound like it's got a gas engine in it. Now, the only thing that I'm not so sure about is once you're at that cruising speed, to me it feels like it wants to downshift. Like it's still at that higher RPM, if you will. I think that's just a matter of getting used to, but it's there. Now, to be fair, that's in sport mode. In sport mode, that Frenzonic exhaust is very aggressive. It's louder. Just like if you were in track mode in the Hemi, right? It opens those exhaust valves all the time. It wakes the car up. It's a similar experience. If you really don't like it, you just turn it off. Now there's this PowerShot mode. Now I'm not gonna fool with that right now for two reasons. One, if you push it, it says the battery level is too low. So for PowerShot mode, I'm honestly not sure what the battery level requirement is needed, but what it does is it opens up full capacity of the battery to get that full burst, and you're going to get about an extra 40 to 50 horsepower of a PowerShot for about 10 to 15 seconds. So you're looking to pass or maybe do that drag pull, you're going to hit that PowerShot mode and you're going to get that 10 to 15 seconds of full uninterrupted power. Now, I can only imagine you're going to it's like opening that faucet full wide open. You're going to start draining the battery. But again, this vehicle is built for performance. It was built for the speed. This wasn't built for range. If you're looking for the range, you'd be at home with your Tesla. If you're looking for the power and the performance and to be an owner of like an all EV sports car, hard for some of us to swallow, but a reality for some, this is it. This is it. This is why they built it. Now, we talked about this being controversial. Well, some people hate diesel trucks, but there's a place for diesel trucks. You tow a lot, you need that extra torque. Whatever the case, you buy a diesel truck. If you don't tow a lot, maybe you don't care about it. You bought a gas truck. Well, there's a place for everything. Maybe if electric isn't your thing, you don't buy electric. If diesel isn't a thing, you don't buy diesel. So do what fits you. But in the meantime, this is fun. Let's talk about these paddles here, okay? Needless to say, they are not shifters. You don't shift an electric car. But as you toggle through them, you'll see this on the dash. So basically what you're doing is as you can control the amount of regenerative braking the car will have through those shifters. So if you want that one pedal feel, you can do that. We're gonna give you a little acceleration feel here. Again, the roads are slippery. I'm taking it easy, but it just pulls away from the light. And only imagine an extra 100 horsepower, this thing would be a real screamer. So how does it feel to drive an all EV Charger? It's nice. It's heavy, right? So let's put that out there. It's over 5,000 pounds. It doesn't drive like it's 5,000 pounds, and here's why. If you think of the old, I say old, but the traditional Hemi, right, with the gas engine, you've got the big weight of the Hemi up front. It's a rear-wheel drive. You know, you're pushing through corners with the weight up front and the rear-wheel drive in the back. All the weight is very symmetrical. You're pulling and pushing the car. All your weight is beneath you and evenly laid out, so it feels sporty. You can throw it into the turns and it feels good. The steering's tight. So yes, it does weigh more than the traditional ICE version with the Hemi. But I also feel like it's more balanced, and with the all-wheel drive, love it or hate it, it's pulling you and pushing you. Listen, there must be something there, because look at the E-Ray. The E-Ray is a hybrid all-wheel drive Corvette, not built for hybrid fuel economy, but built for sheer power and traction to push and pull. Now there's controversy, this EV can't do a burnout. Well, I mean, the roads are cold and I got the tires to break loose on accident. Now I will say we did a drive on the Wagoneer S, and those 4 tires broke loose on accident. Now this RT version on dry pavement with the all-wheel drive system, probably gonna have to try to burn the tires off. Having said that, I don't know if they'll come up with some sort of thing in the software to do a drag mode on the RT. Now the Scat Pack does have 100 more horsepower and it does have a track mode. So again, I don't know. I don't know that people were necessarily buying the RT for a smoke show to begin with. Let's be realistic. They made a 6-cylinder version, gas, of the Challenger. Obviously that wasn't designed for a smoke show. I think it all depends on what you're after. But if you're looking for something that's just got a ton of power and pulls and pulls and pulls and goes fast, this will do that. I hope you guys can hear the exhaust noise. Now again, I'm in sport mode. I'm gonna switch it to auto. And now in auto mode, the exhaust noise is very minimal. It's very subdued in the background. You can't really hear it. Now when I get on it, you can hear it, it's there. In auto mode, I think it's respectable. In sport mode, I think it's kind of a lot. But having said that, I'm kind of remember back in the days of the red eye and you put it in track mode, there was times that was a lot too. It just felt like it was always in your face. So I think it's a good mimic of the system. And again, for whatever reason you hate that Fredzonic exhaust, just turn it off. And I will say this thing demands attention. The guy followed me home yesterday, literally to my driveway, and he's like, "Is that one of those new EVs? I gotta see it," because I thought it was. He goes, and then I heard it. On the dash, you've got a real nice display over here. It does tell you your kilowatts per hour. Obviously, the harder you drive it, the faster that goes down. You do have a nice heads-up display, which I'm sure you're not going to be able to see on camera. It does tell you your torque. There's your performance pages. The screen is really, really sharp. There is the vehicle mode here, and again, we'll go into some of that, but that's where you change your colors electric vehicle. This is all kind of becoming somewhat standard. Your creep mode, we talked about that in the Wagoneer S. This shows you, showing you what's using your power, where it's going. It'll show you when you regenerate back into the system. Shows you basically what's pulling and pushing. So that's pretty cool. A lot of information on this thing. So that's my quick review on the all-new Charger EV. Now, what's the price of this? So these things start in the mid-50s. This one, as equipped, is a little over 70. There are a lot of different options you can do. And then you get into the Scat Pack, and it's gonna climb real quick. If you're looking for something unique and something different with a ton of power, check it out. One of the more controversial cars, and I don't mean that in a bad way. If you think a lot of things that Dodge has done, well, they reach a lot of eyeballs. First one to put a 700 horsepower into a truck. First one to put a demon on the road that can lift the tires. First vehicle to be banned from NHRA racing because it's too fast. Talk about controversy. So controversy doesn't mean bad, it just means different. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. What is your thought on the all-new EV muscle car by Dodge? Thanks to Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fox Lake for letting us take this vehicle out.